Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life for Living Well. My name is Richard and I will be your anchor today. Before I dive into the topic I have for us this week, I'd like to say if you'd like to subscribe for weekly article magazine that we send out through the email to the people that subscribe or sign up, please go to our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com and you can add your email to the subscriber email. So that's how you support the podcast to continue to bring the new thing to every week. Also, if you like to know one or two things that we do as a community, you can also reach out at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. So let's dive into the topic for this week. The topic I'm looking at this week is what I call 5 good things in life you are mixing out because you fear rejection. Like we normally do, is to take one individual inspirational word and build a message around it. So we're going to follow the same path. So I'm hoping that I can make it more clearer and easy to follow. Without taking much of your time, let's dive into it. So this week, I'm hoping the topic with the quotation from Jeanette Cotton. So, what does she say? She put it this way. If you stop being afraid of the word no and take more chances, you will get more yes. I absolutely agree with that. I cannot remember countless of times I've got no on some different places or some different things that I wanted to do, but keep going and keep knocking the door. I get more yeses after that. So life is very funny. And if we don't train our mind, if we don't train our psyche, if we don't train our expectation, if we don't train our behavior and attitude, we might get bogged down because of no. Sometimes our dream is so big that scare people around us and it's impossible for them to support us, but we won't say it that way. So they come across by discouraging us, by becoming nonchalant to it. But if you have a vision, if you set your goal clear, and if you have the attitude to follow it through, you might be surprised how far you could go with that behavior. So the fear of rejection is a major reason why many people are not living the life they want. You'll be so amazed how many people have different thoughts, different ideas, what they want to live in their life. But it's so terrified to even try because they think that they have no resources to make it happen. At that moment, it could be right for them, but that does not written on the stone. And they didn't want to even try because they think it's going to fail anyway. What's the point of trying? The question is not because it failed. The question is because what lesson that failure taught you? What lesson that failure teach you? How do you rise above it? What can you do to negotiate around it? In extreme situations, some people even deliberately sabotage their own effort by adopting attitudes that are counterproductive. You are saying you want to change job or you want to increase your income, but you still want to provide the same service to the level of the skills that you have. Perhaps it might require to upskill yourself. Perhaps it might require to consider changing the industry you are. That means that it won't happen overnight. That means that you'll be able to burn some candle, burn some oil, invest in yourself. It might take you months, it might take you years. Are you ready to really do that? Many reasons why a lot of people don't change their job, especially when they have been in one place for a long, long time. It takes a lot of risk, it takes a lot of courage to change the job because you have to prove yourself again in a new organization. And if you are the top dog in the world that you want to change, you have to consider that you might be having someone that's not as skilled up as you to be your boss. Are you ready for that? Unfortunately, many people are not. So, what can you do to overcome it? So, in this podcast, we will investigate 5 ways the fear of rejection may be holding you back and what you can do about it. So, number one, starting and engaging in a relationship. You don't realize the reason why that you, especially or some people, remain single is their attitude they have toward the relationship. They actually go out to purposely be with someone that have nothing in common with them, someone that is not even share the ideal relationship. They themselves don't know what they really want. They know what they don't want. They have not spent time and resources that are required to discover what they really, really want. Or what they want and what they need are so mismatched that when they get what they want or when they say what they want, they totally forget what they need. And after a few months or few weeks of that relationship is so obviously glaring that their needs will never be met. I had a lot of stories, a lot of few people that have engaged in this kind of relationships. And when they share their experience, one thing that's very common is that they repeat this cycle few times with different people. You wonder that it doesn't matter the color of the skin of the person they've been in a relationship with, it's always the same outcome, the same drama that you say that. Some doesn't even know what they want. They just know that they need to build a relationship because all their friends, all their circle of friends and families are already in a relationship. But how did they sabotage themselves in starting and engaging in a relationship? Individuals suffering from the fear of rejection often discuss their relationship challenges with friends and family. One obvious sign is a mismatch between their needs and wants. They may appear inauthentic regarding their values and self-respect, which lead them to attract relationships that add no value to their lives. What is the solution to this? What can they do? From my perspective, from my observation, the first step is to build confidence in romantic relationships and cultivate a healthy relationship with yourself before involving another person. Treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. Define your needs and wants in a relationship. And this is simple, but you'll be surprised that a lot of people don't do it. They don't know about it. I once asked two different people, what do they want relationship? It's really so obvious when they talk about what they don't want. They have not spent their energy to focus on what they truly, truly want in relationship. What did they themselves will bring into the relationship? So they want it. Some people cannot separate in terms of separate what they want and what they need until they're able to define what they need and what they want in a relationship. So this simple but challenging habit will enhance their quality of available choices. Sometimes once you clear what you need and what you want, your need will change with time. You'll be obvious easy for you to take no for other people that rejected you because you represent something that they are not, or they don't feel the energy between both of you. Instead of pretending to causing and making them that it has to be the one. Someone once told me that they went on a date, and after the date, they they did some few. They went to play bowling, so they catch up. We went for a walk, and they catch up chatting, get to know each other well. So by the time they go home, they got the text from the other person that say they are not the one. But the irony is that 6 months later, the person involved in another relationship, the person that rejected them now met them again in a social gathering, and something changed. And asked, "Are you still single? Would you like to consider it again? Because I think I rejected you so quick." And they smile and they say, "No, thank you. I'm actually in a relationship with someone now." And the story looks simple and it's funny, but that is what exactly what's going on. Because the other person experienced so much unpleasant emotion within them. Maybe this person brought them into a platform that they've never been with before. And being authentic, being clear on what they want, how they live their life. And the more when they talk about how they live their life, what the other person already feel like they are far, far away from where they are right now. So the question would be for you, are you happy to accommodate someone in that level? Because whether we like it or not, we are at different level or different stage in life. We might be fortunate to meet and share the same space, whether through the work that we do or through the hobby that we engage, people that we meet there. It's not necessarily that we have developed to the same level, regardless of your age. Someone can be 21 and already thinking, living, behaving like 80 or 90-year-old. Or someone can be 80 years old and they live like they are 21. They are open and upfront and courage and passion about life. So when we have a fear of rejection, it makes it difficult to start and engaging in authentic and native relationship. Number two, making a new friend. The fear of rejection can hinder your ability to make new friends. Especially as you grow older, people might be skeptical of overly friendly individuals or those who seem to have interior motives. So, how do you get around this obstacle? The best approach is to be genuinely friendly, maintain existing friendships, and remain open to forming new connections through community involvement, hobbies, or business activities. That takes me to number 3, pursuing your dream job. Many people stay in a position they dislike for years due to fear of change or inadequacy. Others struggle with imposter syndrome and undermine their own potential. You'll be surprised how many people have settled in their jobs because of the fear of rejection, fear that I might not perform well, I'm not willing to learn again, I might fail. So they didn't want to take any risk. They wanted to stay in where it is secure, okay, which is understandable. But it's actually limited our potential as a being, as a person. So how can you overcome this? Well, be honest with yourself about area where you can improve your skills. Take steps to shape and continually enhance yourself. Be prepared to switch roles or organizations if necessary. Set annual goals for your career, income, and knowledge, and actively work toward them. Learn to negotiate with your employer to create win-win situations that benefit both you and the company. You'll be surprised. At one point in my career, I approached my boss and I list the number of things that I brought into the tables. And I think with the year that I've been working there, I should be considered for raise. And if I consider for raise, this is what I will add to what I've already been doing and will benefit the organization. Because it's the public sectors, this individual doesn't have the power to make it happen, which I am aware of. But the idea is to think of what they can do if they cannot do option 1. So and he said, he doesn't have the power to do that, but he's going to push it to his own boss. Then I said, I understand, but you do have a power to recommend that I go for a particular professional training, which will benefit for the organization and myself toward of working toward the goals. And he did. And he put his name as well there. So we both went for the same certification exam for the organization, which will have cost about 1,000 grand to do on my own pocket if I have to do it. So sometimes you will not always get what you want, but afraid of asking is the biggest failure of our part if we don't, because we're afraid of rejection. So at least you know. And because you know, you don't spend your time on thinking in your head or in your mind about things that may not even happen. Because you ask, not necessarily you will get it. But if you don't ask, you don't have more chance to get it. So that takes me to number 4. The desire to start a business. So starting a business is number 4. So the desire to start a business is common, but many give up after facing rejection in the form of setback and failures. And also is very tough. Tough to the extent that things that you are not used to, that you have to deal with some few paperwork, you have to do some from reading, you have to connect to other people. But what then happens is that you get discouraged because you are used to a particular way of making income and you just get home, have your food earning to get your family up, and you go to work, and at the end of the month, or in the end of the week, or in the end of the day, something drops to your account. But in your head, in your mind, you always have an idea of having your own business. But every time you set things up, you don't always get the result that you want. But if it's something that you can do without expecting anything from it, believe me, you wake up at 4 o'clock, you work on it. So the key is adopting the right mindset when venturing into entrepreneurship. So it's what you think about. Your mindset is key here. If you are into it until you have a stable business, regardless of the obstacle you have, you will be into it. If you throw it away the moment the obstacle comes to your way, it will be so challenging to make it happen. So embracing rejection as an opportunity for growth and well-being is crucial. So the key is to adopting the right mindset when venturing into entrepreneurship. It is not about how many times you fall, but how often you rise. People see the people that have businesses, but what they don't know is how many ventures that they have involved before they have one that is successful. As a society, we are not encouraged to talk about our failures. We are not encouraged to talk about our difficulties. We are not encouraged to talk about our challenges. We are celebrating success. The media celebrating success. The spotlight turned to somebody that turned £7 to £7 million. But there's a gap between those periods. Those periods is what you don't see. So you can write your own story. You can venture to different things of your own. You can expand your business. Lastly, as I'm conscious of time, number 5, which is the last one, our fear of rejection is affecting us to experience good things in life, enhancing mental, psychological, and emotional well-being. The fear of rejection wreaks havoc on well-being in various ways and also impacts physical health. You'll be surprised that there's research show that the underlying cause of so many illnesses that we have is a lot of stress. And you can imagine a lot of stress people put themselves to on facing no. And I suggest that the best you can do for yourself is to put yourself in that position often so that you develop a tolerant and resilient skin toward it. Say hello to a stranger if it's really difficult for you to do. Put yourself out of your comfort zone in a very well measured and safe way. Ask for help. One of the things that I enjoy traveling alone, which I haven't done for a while, is asking for help. Talking to a local. One day I was in Malta and I was staying in a hotel. So I met another post guest that stayed in the hotel. So she invited me to come. After chatting for a while, we realized that we share a little thing in common. So she invited me to join her and her brother to go have something to have for dinner. So they took me to places that I've never actually been or aware that exist in that particular area of Malta. it was a nice experience. And then I start chatting with the owner of the restaurants after the meal, and he wanted to show me places that he's been in England. So I was listening to him, asking about his experience. So I asked him, where does the local do shopping here? I didn't realize that the supermarket close to me, to my hotel, is not necessarily meant for the local people. Local people have their different supermarket that they go, which is not far away from the hotel as well, that they do. So the guy told me that, okay, there's two prices. If you go to this market, you pay 2 or 3 times for the same item you can get in another supermarket. That's the joy of travel alone. The same, I was in Japan and I was trying to find my hotel. And hotel was written in Japanese name and I couldn't read it. So I was actually in front of the hotel. I was moving back and from, back and from. And finally, I approached 3 or 4 people. 3 told me that they don't speak English, so they can't help me. So the young lady came and looked into my paper, looked at the address, entered into her phone, and then she turned around and said, okay, that's your hotel behind you. And I was flabbergasted. So these kind of things, I have many more of it. This kind of thing that bring the joy of talking to a stranger, asking for help. A lot of people don't know how to ask for help. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to do everything by yourself. You are not an island. You are connected. But you don't depend on other people to live your life. You are more than enough. You are complete. But when you need help, you should ask for it. You cannot suffer in silence, because that have a lot to do with your psyche. The part that somebody is going to reject you is nothing to do about you. It's more to do about where that person is in their life or are in their life and what they truly want. You might think you want the same thing. You are totally wrong, because you don't share their mind, you don't share their thinking, you don't share their past, you don't share their own dreams for the future. The fact that you appear in the same place at the same time and you do the same thing, you might be so carried away and think that you must have the same thing. So rejection all the time is nothing to do about you. It's more to do about the person that rejected you. Because as much as you think you know, you might only just know 20% about them. Maybe they keep the 80 to themselves. Maybe they look at what they want as a job and they look at what they've already had in the team and the experience they have in the past and they want something different. They might reject you not because you are not good enough to do the job. You might not good enough for them at that time. And you should celebrate that, because people that are for you, we are for you. So in conclusion, once you learn to overcome the fear of rejection, these 5 positive aspects of life could become personal experiences that bring great joy to your life. Remember, as Janet Cotton suggests, not fearing the word no and taking chances can lead to more positive outcomes. I hope this podcast helps someone this week. Until we meet again, please stay safe and have a wonderful week. Ciao.